from the yard.
This is Don the Diecast Pirate, and today I have for you Redline restoration of this Mighty Maverick. And I'm noticing that it's not sitting quite level. We may have to look at straightening out the axles a little bit. This one right here looks like it's bent down a little. The cowl is bent, so the hood doesn't open all the way. We're going to have to see if we can address that. Heavily kid painted. This was an original red car. Not sure if we're going to go back red. I may decide to do that. But let's get it on the turntable and take a look at it. So here it is. There really is a good looking color of blue. I may have to look up some pictures of these. It looks like the grille was originally painted black and possibly the taillights were painted red. I'm not sure. We may take a look at doing that because this is going to be an actual restoration. So, it has cracked glass. The wing is missing. Said heavily kid painted. You can tell it was originally a red car. So, let's get it apart and see what we're looking at. Okay, so I've just drilled the posts. So if we can pull this apart with our fingers, there we go. I was very confident that it would. So this is interesting. So it has that molded in piece to hold these cap wheel axles in. So that's pretty cool. We'll drill that out a little bit. If I can speak right, we'll drill that back out a little bit there. And so there's the base and the interior, which other than missing the wing isn't too bad. This would actually be a great interior for where did I just set that? If I ever came across one of these that was missing the interior, then I could just cut that wing part off and use it in there, I'm sure. This is another one that I've had for a while. I was comparing the roof line on it, but it is kind of smashed down, and I'm not into that part yet so much. This is going to be kind of my first experiment on straightening bodies. So then we have the glass, and that sticks in there very well. I said the grass, the glass is cracked, so we're not going to use that one. And I haven't done like a parts delivery for a while, but let me just go ahead and show you what I have. So this is a replacement interior from on eBay, and then I went ahead and got a blue glass from Second Chance Redlines. So we have the interior, we have the glass. Let's go ahead and pull that out of there. And I'm not going to try and fit it together yet because that cowl is bent. Now, if I try to press it together, it's going to break that glass. But I just wanted to see, I've heard of people having problems fitting this interior in, and I can kind of see why. So I think what you have to do is actually fit the glass into the interior That's a tight fit. I don't want to break that. Let me look at this. Yeah, that one had the tabs on it. Let's use the old glass for this. We'll worry about fitting the new glass later. So something about you have to put the glass in, put these pieces into the glass, and then fold the interior underneath. So this could be fun. Alright. Well, that's going to be definitely be challenging. I think what I'm most likely going to do is, there doesn't really seem to be any flash on the glass. I may open up these holes just a little bit so it's not so tight of a fit. So when I put it in, it should slide over these posts. I'll make sure that the posts fit down in there very easily before trying to assemble it. It's going to be fun assembly for sure. Like I said, we got to get it stripped down. See what I have to do to get this cowl straightened. I just pulled this out of the stripper and then I ran the base through lime away and water. Did look some pictures up online. Looks like some of them had just the center part of the grill as black, and some of them had the whole thing all the way across, including the headlight covers black. And that's the way this one was, and I think that's from factory, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And I did find out, looking at some of the pictures of original cars, that the taillights were red, so we will take those back to red as well. We'll get this all polished up and ready to glue this back in. When I was drilling this out, I was slightly impatient and I tried to pry up on it. I cracked it a little bit, but when I put it back in, I think I will introduce more glue and probably find a way to hold it in place. You can't see it that way. Probably find a way to hold it in place while I put the Instaset in on the heavyweight. It was actually up a little bit because I didn't hold it down far enough, so we'll address that. Body came out pretty decent. We will polish it up some. Some of the paint didn't come off, but it is rubbing off with my thumbnail. So it's loose, it's just not completely off of it, and we'll go back through and maybe the polishing process will take that off. I'm really thinking about going back to red with this. I'm noticing there's some casting lines in here. I don't really want to smooth that out too much, but I might, just because it's so prominent right there on this part. And then once the interior piece is on, you won't see this anyway, so I'm not worried about that. I might just take it down just to make it easier to install because of that. And then, you know, there's still some underneath. I did straighten the cowl panel, and I took a chance, and it could have gone horribly wrong, and it went incredibly right. And all I did, because I noticed how thick this cowl panel is, and I thought, well, what happens if I just put some slight pressure on there? And I did it a little bit, and then I went to open the hood, and it opened a little farther, but it was still hitting. And then I went a little more, and the hood opened completely, but it wasn't quite in line. So I went a little more, and it's almost perfect. It could go slightly tilted back more, but I am not going to press my luck with it. We will leave it just the way it is. We'll get this body polished up, cleaned up, dried, and ready for paint, and we'll come back and paint that. We'll get this base polished up. I went ahead and removed the cap wheels from here, and if you're not familiar with that process, that's as simple as just take your X-Acto knife blade here, get it on top next to this edge between the cap, and roll it back and forth slightly until it goes down in, and then simply pry the blade to pop that cap off. So that's what I did on those. I went ahead and removed it from the base before I did that. Just because the knife was hitting the back part here. So if I would have had more room, I wouldn't have messed with that. I looked at putting it upside down, but then it would have pushed the wheels up more and bent the axles more than they already were. So I decided to leave well enough alone and remove it from the car first. I think this will come back okay. Slightly disappointed that I did crack that because that was not cracked when I started. I should have used a little more patience. Okay, so I have the body and the base in the air fryer right now to get them dried out, and I just thought maybe we'd come back and take a look at the fitment on this glass before we bring that back in here. See if we can get this working better. So there's a guy asked me one time because he was doing a restoration on these, and I wasn't quite sure what he was talking about. This may be the issue that he was having. So those fit in there snugly now, but let's just open it up a little more. Because we want it to just pop right in place. Alright. Alright. Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. I don't show this process too often. A lot of times I dip these interiors in the floor shine. I don't think I'm going to do it with this one. Because I don't want the spoiler to have a super shiny finish on it. Quick shine, floor shine. A lot of guys use gauzy. I haven't bought any gauzy yet. As long as I have this, it does the job. So gauzy might be better, I don't know. But this is what I use because this is what I bought when I started. So let's just take a look at this other Maverick here and see. Okay, so we'll just grab a hold of it right here. Maybe this way. Yeah, you just grab it that way. So when it's undone, I can set it down. Just go in here just like that. And get the excess off. And that looks perfect. Just set it down. So, a lot of guys, set something down over the top of it to keep dust off of it. Knock on wood. Fortunately, I haven't had any issues with that, even though I do have 4 cats now. I polished the body and the base with flits. If you're not familiar with this stuff, it's great stuff. A lot of guys use it. A lot of guys swear by it. Took me a little bit of a learning curve to figure out how to use it. Ladies and gentlemen, I proudly present to you my Mighty Maverick, fully restored in its original Spectraflame Red. Man, this car came out so good! I am super stoked about this one. Let's get it up on the turntable and take a look at it. So let's go back and take a look at where we started. Watch that go around for a few seconds. Then we'll come back to the finished product. It chipped some of the paint. Oh. Well, I suppose you'll have that. So here we have it, tore it apart, replaced the interior, so it was missing the wing, replaced the glass because it was cracked, took off those worn out old Redlines, put some fresh ones on there, cleaned and polished the base, stripped the paint, polished the body, put that beautiful red Spectraflame paint back on it, back to original. Colored in the grille with a black Sharpie and the taillights with a red Sharpie. All in all, I think this one took me about 2 hours. 2.5 maybe. I did notice, and this is the first one I've done, shift the paint on that back corner. What I may do is mix up with just a tiny bit of Spectraflame and just touch it up with a brush. just because it adds character, you know. It adds character. I had to fight with that interior, getting it in with that glass and everything a little bit, which is probably why, you know. But all in all, for starting out with a kid-painted car with a bent cowl, and here, let's check this out. Let me get that off the turntable and look under that hood. And it opens all the way, right? That is just perfect. There's the base, all polished up, the screws in there. So don't forget, next month, I forget what we have coming up next month for the Diecast International Builders. This is August. Next month is September. October, we have the spooky build coming up for Halloween. So that's going to be exciting. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do for that. I still need to get some things caught up here, getting ready to ship some stuff out to some friends, and we need to get the subscribers' choice cars out and get going on that. So come up with a game plan. We'll get that back in order. Last couple of weeks, I just, you know, my dad passing away, and we finally had the service for him yesterday. They put, you know, they decided to do it yesterday, so more people could be there. That was good to see everybody and, you know, give him his final farewell. Had a good long life. And I'll miss him. But it's life, guys. It's life, and sooner or later, let's just enjoy it while we can, right? Let's do that. Let's enjoy it while we can, and I love you guys. You know, thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Click that like button. Leave a comment down below. Also, follow me on Instagram so you can see the beauty shots of my completed builds. And if you would, go check me out on Patreon. $5 a month, man. You know, you get to see in-process pictures of what I got going on. So, you know, that'd be really good if you could do that. I would really appreciate it. So, as always, this is Don the Diecast Pirate, and I will see you next time.